So you're wondering how to get rid of your love handles. If you're a guy watching this, I know it's very frustrating. I once had love handles and I hated it. I would look at them every time I'd see myself in the mirror and I'd pinch at them and I'd pull at them and I'd just be like, I want to get rid of these things. How do I do it? I figured it out, and in this video, I'll be sharing with you the myths behind losing love handles. We'll discuss why it's really hard to lose fat around that region if you're a guy watching. And I'll give you a 3-phase approach that I personally used to not only lose my love handles, but also get into the best shape of my life. Coming up after the intro. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Brad here. I'm an online fitness coach and athlete, and I have been through my own journey as once a skinny fat dude in all of my teenage and 20s, and I figured out how to get into the best shape of my life, and I went on to win a bunch of competitions. I'll show you some photos, did a bunch of photo shoots, and then most recently did a High Rocks event in the men's pro division, and I just turned 40 last week. Woost! And I'm in the best shape of my life. So this video and this channel is dedicated to all guys watching that are wanting to get into the best shape of their lives. If you're one of those people, man, you want to subscribe to the channel for more content coming your way. So I really want to help you guys. I wish I had these videos when I first started my journey. Anyway, let's rock and roll. So I have had love handles myself. I know how frustrating this is. You stare at them in the mirror, you pull at them, you look at them all the time in the mirror. Every time you put some clothes on, you're kind of trying to tuck those love handles away so they don't pop out as much. So all of these things I've done myself, and you are very self-conscious of these love handles. And you might even go to the gym and try things like spot reduction, right? I did this, man. I used to go to the gym and I would do endless crunches, trying to build a six-pack. I'd just be there on the ab crunch machine, doing set after set after set until failure, until I couldn't feel my abs anymore. Or I'd do like side crunches or side planks, or because I really was trying to get a six-pack with like pop and obliques. And I was also trying to shred off the love handles that I hated because I didn't like them. And I thought the way to do that was to just do isolation exercises, specifically targeting that area, doing spot reduction of fat. Guys, all that's a myth, right? There is no spot reduction of fat. That just doesn't work that way. What I failed to realize is that, you can't target fat loss. What you can do and what you need to do is you need to put yourself in a calorie deficit, which we'll talk about in just a second. So the first major myth is spot reduction. You cannot do endless crunches and ab circuits and things like that to melt away the fat that's covering your abs and your obliques. It just doesn't work like that. So let's jump into the next section. Why are love handles so stubborn? Why is it really, really tough to burn that fat that's covering your love handles and your abs? The first reason is fat distribution is genetically determined. When you put yourself in a calorie deficit, which we'll talk about in the next section, you are then putting yourself in a position where you are consuming less calories than what your body needs every day. And then your genetics will decide where that fat comes off first, right? So if you eat less calories than what your body needs every day, your body will then start harvesting stored fat stores to make up the deficit, right? And it will go to wherever your genetics decide it wants to take fat off first. Now for guys, it's probably going to come off your face first. It's going to come off your shoulders and your upper back first, and your arms and things like that, which is, as a guy, you'll start to see veins popping out of your arms as you start shredding body fat before you even start losing your love handles. The fat around your lower belly, right, and your love handles usually comes off last. I've been working with guys online for coaching now for about 8 years. I've been through this journey myself. It's a very common complaint that guys bring to my attention. It's like, Brad, I still have love handles. What's going on? I've been in this calorie deficit for 8 weeks. They've got leaner chests, they've got a leaner chest, a leaner upper back. Their face is tighter, right? They've lost fat from their face. You can see it visually in their photos, but they still got the love handles. Like, Brad, I still got love handles. What do I do? And all I say to them is, be patient. And we'll talk about some other things as well, but be patient, because fat loss is not going to come off your love handles first, right? Your stored fat is not going to come off your love handles first. It's going to come off last, right? And so therefore, it requires more patience to lose the fat that is around your love handles and your lower belly. The next reason is that stubborn fat has more alpha-2 receptors. So alpha-2 receptors is what blocks fat burning. It makes it more difficult to burn fat in these regions because of these alpha-2 receptors. Other parts of your body, like your chest as a guy, or your upper back, or your shoulders, your arms, you have more of these, what they call beta-2 receptors. And these beta-2 receptors are more open to being mobilized and burned for energy, right? So alpha-2 receptors are a pain in the ass because they make fat mobilization and burning more difficult. Beta-2 receptors are our best friends. And so we've got to contend with these annoying alpha-2 receptors, which you have no control over, right? These alpha-2 receptors, as I said, they exist more in your love handles, right? The fat in your love handles and your lower belly. Plus also the poor circulation in these regions of your body makes it more difficult for blood flow in these regions to allow fat mobilization to occur in the first place. So there's a couple of things that make like losing fat from your lower belly and your love handles more difficult. But again, it doesn't make it impossible. It just requires more patience, being in that calorie deficit, which we'll get to, for a little bit longer to start seeing the fat from your love handles come off. And the last point I should mention here before we jump to the next section is that, patience is really the key here. There's so many videos on YouTube that talk about how to lose love handles and how to shred stubborn body fat and things like that. And this is the secret, and these are the keys, and these are the tools that you need to do. At the end of the day, man, calorie deficit training and doing a bit of cardio and tracking all of that is really all you got to do, which we'll talk about in the next section, I promise. But the most important thing really is patience. Doing those things, right, the 3-phase fix, which we'll get to, for long enough to then allow the fat to come off your love handles. Right, because as I said, the fat from your love handles will come off, but it usually comes off last. You'll lose fat from everywhere else first. Your love handles and your lower body fat will come off last. Requires a hell of a lot more patience. And that's very, very tough as a coach to educate people with, because most people want the results quickly. And so the reality is you just got to be more patient. So let's jump into the 3-phase fix. I've got some notes here. The first phase is dialing in your deficit. Now, you need to track your calories, end of story. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. They don't want to track their calories. They just want to kind of move through life and have a body transformation without any kind of attention to their caloric intake. And of course, you can lose weight and get shredded without tracking calories. I've done it as an experiment to show my clients. But the reality is, if you want to have a lot of control over your transformation, you really do need to track your calories, and you need to put yourself in a calorie deficit, right? Where you're consuming fewer calories than what your body needs every day to maintain weight. You need to be in a calorie deficit. And what I usually suggest is you aim for about a 15 to 20% deficit. So you have a maintenance level calories. How many calories do you need to consume to maintain your current weight, right? Then you have a deficit, which is eating fewer calories than your maintenance, usually by about 20%. And by maintaining a calorie deficit over a period of time, depending on your starting body fat percentage, it could be 4 weeks, it could be 12 weeks, it could be 18 weeks. It depends on how much body fat you need to lose. That will dictate how long you need to be in a calorie deficit for. Everybody's different. 20% calorie deficit. If you're not sure on how to track or how to calculate your calorie target to be in a calorie deficit, jump on my website. I'll link it up down below. There's a free macronutrient calculator. You can go there. You can punch in your numbers. You can put in your, male, female, age, height, activity levels, and all that kind of stuff. And the calculator will give you how many calories to consume every day to maintain a calorie deficit. And I'll bring it up on my screen right now. So if you leave the BMR formula at Mifflin-Sajoie, right? Very fancy. Mifflin-Sajoie, recommended. Go to goal and hit drop down, select moderate weight loss, 1 pound per week. And the calculator will tell you that as a guy, if you consume, in this example that are on my screen right now, 2,100 calories per day, you will lose approximately 1 pound of weight per week. That's how you create a calorie deficit. You consume fewer calories than what your body needs every day. Use this calculator. That's going to help you with the nutrition side of the equation. And of course, you need to track your calories using MyNet Diary, MyFitnessPal, so you can put that calorie target and protein target, because both are important, into either one of those tracking apps. And then you just start tracking all the food that you're eating, right? And you really want to focus on nutrient-dense food, right? Like sweet potato, brown rice, black rice, all that kind of stuff for 80% of your calories. So 80% of your, say, 2,100 calories needs to come from nutrient-dense food, right? It's going to help you keep satiated while you're in a calorie deficit. You're not going to feel as hungry. And it's normal to feel a little bit of hunger in a calorie deficit. You shouldn't be starving, but you should feel a little bit of hunger, right? And when you start to feel a little bit of hunger, getting a protein shake in, this is what I do. I've done all this stuff. I speak from experience. And I teach my clients to do the same thing. You have a protein shake or two, you have a high protein snack, things like that, that's going to help you maintain a calorie deficit. The name of the game, my friends, if you're a guy watching this, is maintaining a calorie deficit for as long as necessary to get the result that you're seeking. That is it. Now, it sounds easy. It kind of is. But on paper it is, but it is difficult to sustain that. It's difficult in practice because most people watching this have normal jobs that you might travel for work, you might be a flight attendant, you might be a pilot, you might be working weird night shift hours like I used to work when I did all this stuff for the first time myself. I used to work night shift all the time. It was very, very tough to maintain a calorie deficit. But I'm telling you guys, if you're patient enough, maintain a calorie deficit, eat 80 to 90% of your calorie target from nutrient-dense food, track everything, weigh everything, measure everything, get a digital food scale from Amazon.com and just weigh everything. Get your protein in. Make sure you get your protein. Hit your protein target every day. Don't miss protein. Protein's going to help you recover. It's going to help you recover from your lifting sessions. It's going to help you keep satiated in a calorie deficit. Gotta dial in your calorie deficit Monday to Sunday. Do not binge on the weekends. Don't ruin your progress by celebrating over the weekends and undoing all of the hard work that you've put in during the week through tracking your calories. It's Monday to Sunday, my friends. Being in a calorie deficit, Monday to Sunday. The next phase, prioritize lifting. Number 2, what I did was I followed a program or a methodology called push-pull legs. I've actually decided I'm just going to give this book away for free. So if you use the code PPL100, push-pull legs 100 for 100% off the price. I think the book costs like $4 or $5 anyway, but I'll give it to you for free. Literally go and get that book for free. Learn how to create a very simple beginner-friendly program based on heavy compound lifting that will help you build muscle while you're in a calorie deficit. That's going to help you build abs, build obliques, right, which your fat is covering, right, and ultimately is going to help you break out of a skinny fat physique that you probably have as well, right? So go and check that book out. That will take care of the lifting side of the equation. And the last phase is cardio, using cardio strategically. A lot of people abuse cardio. I did too. Many years ago, I abused the shit out of cardio. I was going into the gym hours a day, doing treadmill, doing Stairmaster, doing Les Mills programs, doing Zumba, doing Tai Bo. Do you guys remember Tai Bo? That was hilarious. Good old Tai Bo. I did a lot of cardio back in the day, and that was one big reason why I had giant love handles and lower body fat and essentially a skinny fat body that I hated. When I reduced my cardio, which is counterintuitive to what most people think you need to do, when I reduced my cardio to around 2.5 hours a week, I'd break those cardio sessions up into maybe 30-minute, 40-minute sessions, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. And I tracked it. I tracked it using an app, right? I used like an app like Runkeeper. I had a journal as well, like a written journal when I first started doing this. And I was tracking it. I was tracking my walks. I was tracking my cardio sessions. And I wouldn't do any more than about 30 to 40 minutes per session. I wouldn't do any more than sort of a low to moderate intensity session. I'd maybe do 1 high intensity interval training session a week at a maximum of 20 minutes. So my HIIT sessions were no more than literally 15, 20 minutes. I'd just do 1 of those a week. Sometimes I wouldn't even do a HIIT session. I'd just do like 3 to 4 low to moderate intensity cardio sessions a week. And then I would ensure that my cardio was on separate days to my lifting. So I'd either do my cardio after my lifting session, like I do lifting in the morning and then cardio at night, or I do lifting in the morning and then cardio straight after if I didn't feel like going back to the gym or if I was working or whatever. I'd always ensure that I was doing cardio after my lifting session, ideally on a separate day. And then just ensure that you do not eat back the calories that you're burning through cardio. So if you're using like a watch, like I'm using, like a Garmin here, that tells you thereabouts how many calories you're burning, which is not terribly accurate anyway, you shouldn't go out and eat back those calories that the watch is telling you that you've burned. So if my calculator is saying that you need to maintain a calorie deficit of 1900 calories a day, 7 days a week, for as long as necessary to melt away those love handles, losing around half a pound to a pound a week on average, that's what we care about, a weekly average weight loss, not a day-to-day weigh-in. 1900 calories per day, if that is your calorie target based on what my calculator says, is assuming that you're already doing the cardio. So do not eat back the calories that you burn through cardio. The last section that I want to talk about is what not to do. So a couple of things here: crash dieting or fasting for days. You don't need to do intermittent fasting. If you want to intermittent fast, that's fantastic. You go nuts. I personally don't like it. It's not for me. I've tried it. It didn't work for me. But I still got super duper shredded in the best shape of my life. And the reason why intermittent fasting didn't work for me was because I worked night shift and I needed to stay awake at my desk. If I was fasting, I was already very, very tired. And if I decided to, and I did try fasting while I was working night shift, I almost fell asleep on the job. And I had a high responsibility job and I just cannot afford, I don't work that job anymore, but it just didn't work for me. So if you want to fast, fantastic, go do that, go nuts. But you don't have to fast to get results, to get lean, to lose your love handles. You just don't. I've been working with clients online now for many, many years. Very rarely do I put someone on intermittent fasting protocols. If I do it, it's only because they like it and they want to do it, and I help them set up an intermittent fasting protocol around their lifestyle. But otherwise, I don't bother with it because you don't need to do it. It's not necessary. The next one is obsessing over the scale. So, the bathroom scale is a great tool. It's just like any other kind of tool. It's just one measurement method. So what I suggest you do is get a measuring tape and measure around your waist, okay, around your belly button. Take that measurement using a measuring tape that you can buy from Amazon.com or from a craft store, and take that measurement and chuck it into my free tracking spreadsheet, which I'll link down below. Actually, I've decided I'm going to make that for free. So my tracking spreadsheet, you'll put in your daily weigh-ins, jump on the bathroom scale, first thing in the morning, before food or drink, before training, before you eat anything. What else did I say? Minimal clothing. Jump on the bathroom scale, do a weigh-in, put that into the spreadsheet. And then every 2 weeks, you're going to do a waist measurement. When you maintain a calorie deficit 7 days a week, you should lose on average around 0.5 to 1 pound a week. That's a healthy rate of weight loss, right? If you're obese and you're watching this, then 2.5 pounds on average is a relatively healthy rate of weight loss for someone who's over 25-30% body fat. Do not obsess over the bathroom scale. Your weight is going to go up and down every day when you jump on the bathroom scale. No one cares about how your weight changes from day to day. What we do care about is the trend over time. Is your body weight overall, week to week to week, is it reducing, increasing, or staying the same? The last one is falling for gimmicks like fat burners or waist wraps. So you want to really just avoid any kind of like fat burners, because that's just a waste of money in my opinion. I tried fat burners many years ago. It's really just a waste of money. You don't need to do any fat burners. You don't need to take any of that shit. And honestly, when it comes to supplements, I only take creatine monohydrate and protein powder, and that is it. Honestly, that is all I take. And I don't even take a pre-workout anymore. I used to take pre-workouts for a couple of years, many, many years ago. I stopped taking them because pre-workouts are really just expensive caffeine. And if I want, I can just have a black coffee before I go to the gym, and I can save a ton of money. Forget the fad diets, forget about the supplements, forget about the fat burners, forget about any kind of dilators, but forget about steroids, forget about PEDs or peptides and things like that. You don't need any of that stuff. As I said before, in the early days of my transformation, even right up until now, I just turned 40 last week, I've never ever used, touched, or tried any kind of performance enhancing drug in my life. There are people in the comments that go, oh, Brad's taking steroids, or he's on PEDs, he's on TRT. I was like, no man, I've not touched anything like that ever. Never tried it, never touched it. So the photos I'll show you now are photos I've taken recently. As I said, I turned 40 last week, and man, I'm in the best shape of my life. And having never touched anything in my life, I feel like an absolute machine with my Muay Thai kickboxing training, my high intensity hybrid style training, where I just feel like an absolute fucking weapon. And I did it all naturally without anything at all. Zero. So that is it. So if you guys want to work with me to online coaching, there's a link down below. Go and sign up, fill out some forms. And if I have some availability, I'll take you on. I have programs and books and things like that. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.